my scrappy friends. So I have a new layout for you tonight. Today, it's tonight for me. And I'm going to be doing some mixed media type stuff on this. So I am just taking a Tim Holtz dauber, and I'm not sure what color that is. It's like an orangey color. And I had already used some gesso on the back of this white plain cardstock so that I can do quite a bit of media stuff. So I'm just using this stencil that is like coffee cup rings on it. And then I am going to take some of my homemade watercolors that are really the gel food coloring. And I use some water. And I wanted to use that big brush because I wanted to get some bigger strokes. And so here I'm taking a Prima stamp, and that is from Coffee Break or Coffee Time. I think it's Coffee Break. And I'm going to use some pumpkin, so it's like an orangey color. And the color that I used for the watercolor was like a pink and a little bit of like yellow orange in it. So I know that I want to use color yellow and orange colors because I know I want to use the Maggie Holmes open book collection mostly with this, and a lot of the colors in that are those colors and vintagey. And I also know that I want it to kind of go along with fall. So here I'm taking some modeling paste and I'm mixing some Lindy Stamp Gang, some pink, that's Plumeria pink, in with the modeling paste. And the one that I have is pretty creamy looking. So it kind of looks a little bit like a whipped icing ish. Um, and I like that. It's not super thick, but it's, not. So I used my heat gun to spray that everything down and make sure everything was dry. And here I'm just using a little bit more water with that brush, and I'm using some orange Lindy Stamp Gang on top of where I had already did some of that watercolor earlier. And I'm using the heat gun, and I really wanted to blast it because I wanted to make sure the colors didn't bleed. So here I'm looking through my papers from Maggie Holmes, and I'm going to see what ones I want to use. I already had an idea that I wanted to do a diagonal on the top and a diagonal on the bottom with this of some pattern paper. So I'm kind of just looking to see what I have, which is most of that. I've not really used that collection too much yet, so which is part of the reason why I want to use it. Now that I'm getting a kit, or I get the kits, and then when I buy extra stuff, sometimes I like to go back and forth to use different things just so it doesn't get old. But also you see other people using it, and so you want to get your hands in and use that stuff. So I'm just figuring out where the edge is on this since it's all white. It's really hard to tell the branding strip. That's the only thing I don't like about that white cardstock right there. That is, I believe, coordination, so it's just a basic type of cardstock. And so I decided on, I think it's a heart one with all the hexagons. So it's like orange and pink hearts. And this picture is a picture of a coffee cup of mine. I love coffee, and so I thought, hey, it's about time that I do a coffee cup layout, right? I mean, you got to have at least one coffee cup layout if you drink coffee. And plus, I got all that coffee stuff from Prima, so I thought that maybe I would kind of look at that. Though I don't think I remembered to look at the ephemera stuff, which I wish I did because I was more interested in using all the Maggie Holmes stuff, and I had just bought the pack of the vellum, so I knew I wanted to use some of that too. So here I'm just using my ATG, and I use a little bit more than maybe I would have just because I did use the gesso, and I want to make sure that it really sticks. Now, I love this wood grain, and it goes from a pink, like a pink wood to like a natural light wood. Almost, I don't know. I want to say ash or something like that. It's something really, really light. But and so I'm thinking, okay, I want to use this, do a double layer so I can use a double, diagonal so I can use some of this. I know this is going to be a lot, and so I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I want to cut it so that I don't overdo it because I don't want too much sticking up. I don't want a lot of that paper down at the top because I want a lot of that open space. I mean, I did all that stuff. I did the arrows, I did the stamp, I did. So I want that to show also. I want a lot of that open space. I mean, I've been trying to t- push myself and make open space because I do like pattern paper, but sometimes using a little bit of open space kind of makes your layout not seem so cluttered or, messy. So I have those stickers. They're like 3D coffee cup stickers from like Doodlebug, I think, and I really wanted to use those. But I just didn't think the color. There was a yellow that might have worked, but I didn't think it was going to. Now, I'm sorry you guys didn't get to see me put the layers together because apparently I lost the clip for that. But I thought I would, you know, I have a lot of the other clips, so I thought I'd show you. Now that is a gold heart from the vellum pack, and there's that bullseye, and that's also from the vellum. I love the vellum in this collection. And so I'm just looking through all the different ephemera pieces. There's so much between some of the cut apart pieces from the paper and then the ephemera. And that piece right there says documented, and that is a nice on the nice dark hardwood. And so I really want to use that to offset on, that light color. And because my picture is a really dark picture, I wanted it to be really, really warm because this coffee is a coffee that I've been kind of making now that it's the holiday or the fall time. And since Hawaii is not very fall like, especially in the temperature, but though it is starting to get chilly at night, guys, I've been having to wear my sweater. I feel all like, I don't know, I feel silly because I need to wear a sweater at night. And everybody's like, what? It's like the 60s, but it's starting to get cold at night. And but I really want to feel like it's fall time because I grew up in New York, and so I remember, the smells of fall, of the leaves, and like when you wake up in the morning and you get that, it's really brisk in the fall time, but then it warms up and all the grass with the leaves warm up and they smell, and so, that's things that I miss that sometimes I try to capture as far as to remember. So I made this coffee with, and since I don't go out to Starbucks with having three kids, it's not as fun to lug three kids to Starbucks just to get a pumpkin spice latte. So I took some pumpkin spice and, seasoning, and then I put that in with my coffee grounds, and then ran that through, and then I had made a cinnamon homemade whipped cream, and I was putting that on the top. So I just kind of wanted to document, one way that I'm trying to remember the fall time of what I remember, growing up, even not that long ago. I mean, even in El Paso, in like early December, it starts cooling down. So I'm just looking through the bits and pieces of all the ephemera and looking to see what I can fit into those little pieces. I used that tag and I had some twine, some hemp twine, and so I just used some of that and I glued a little bit of it down. And I really liked that piece of vellum that's highlighted that says I love everything about this. So I put that in. Oh, here I'm getting the hemp twine for that tag. I didn't realize I didn't do it. Here I'm talking about something I didn't do. But so yeah. So I do real quick want to apologize to everybody who I haven't commented yet on my last video. I'm sorry that the ending was really hard to hear. I am going to be working on that. I know my computer has been acting funny, and so a lot of times, before I go and do my voiceover, I will go through and add music at the beginning of the end. And I guess for whatever reason, it didn't, um, the volume on it was a little bit too loud. And so I will be working on that so that you guys don't have problems hearing me. And if you guys have a problem hearing me or if it's blurry, I noticed at the top of my screen you can see part of my stand. So I'll be making sure that stuff doesn't happen as much. But if there is a problem, just let me know. I mean, even if I don't get back to you as far as commenting back, because sometimes I use my iPad a lot to make comments. But for whatever reason, the operating system Apple wants to go right to the app, and the app you can't make comments on. For whatever reason, you can't see the comments. So it's really silly because it wants to go to the app. Now, here I use a glue dot on that dark spot. Now we're going to switch over. I'm going to completely switch as, as I was talking about that. But anyway, leave comments and I will definitely see them and I will try to do my best to because I want to make these videos so that you guys want to see them because I mean, who wants a blurry video or who wants a video that you can't hear? So, you're not going to hurt my feelings by telling me things that need to be fixed. So, I keep moving back and forth that documented because I'm like, do I want it on the top? I didn't want it too heavy and the battery, I really wanted to put the battery on because coffee is charging and. So it really, how else would I use a battery? I really didn't know. So I was like, I'm going to use it this time. Right? And I actually really do like it up there. I really just am thinking about how I can keep things balanced. Now, on that wood grain like scallops half circle that was in the ephemera pack, I used a glue dot on. And you're going to see me later after I do the journaling. I'm going to go back and I'm going to take it off because I thought I wanted maybe a little bit more dimension, but it just wasn't holding enough with the glue dot. So here I'm using my pinky color, whatever color that is, from the Chamel line, the pens that she put out. And I really love the colors that she has. They're a little bit different than maybe some of the other colors. And I don't know, I don't go shopping for pens very often. Just even though I love pens, let me tell you, I love pens. I love trying out different kinds of pens. But they're kind of expensive and so I've tried not to like buy too many. I know I bought some Stettlers, which I actually am not a big fan of because if you press down too hard, the ink gets sucked out really quick. So I've had a problem with keeping them without them doing. I don't know, maybe it was just the pack that I bought was old or something. So I used the pink, but then I thought that it, for some of it I really needed the gray, and so I just took some of the words. I like used both colors on just keywords that I wanted to stand out. Like, um, I I talk about me making this homemade coffee, and then like words like homemade and spice and yummy and cinnamon and fall time and hot are words that I wanted to stand out. So, I mean, it didn't really need that much journaling. It's a cup of coffee but there is that story behind of that, things that I want to do or things that I do to make it feel more like, you know, what I was used to. So here I'm just looking through some other stuff that I have, and I had some Stampin' Up coffee mugs that actually I seen from Oh Snap Gonzo. She was having a party at one point and she showed those coffee mugs and I love them, let me tell you, because you can do so much. You can piece them together, which is what I did here. And I really wanted to use that because I wanted to use a coffee cup and I couldn't use a Doodlebug one, so I was like, maybe I can fit this in. And I actually think it works really well. It just tucked in as a layer and so like I said, I'm also looking through a swag bag that I have just to see, and that little tab down at the bottom that says love this is from that. And I really like the orange. I think it kind of works in with that orange lined paper that is in with my layers. And most of those are the Maggie Holmes. ones that I use. So here I'm just looking through another one because I have two. And I knew I had some like wooden leaves and I had some of the gossamer blue leaves from their new collection. So I knew some of those were in there. And so I was looking through those and I knew I had some gold sequins that came in. The last swag bag that I got from Paper Issues. And so I'm looking for some of those because I'm thinking maybe I'll add some of that because the gold will look really well with the orange. And, you know, I mean, hey, why not put? I've been liking using sequins. I'm trying not to overdo it though because I think you can overdo it, right? Maybe not. Maybe you can't overdo it. You guys let me know. Can you overdo it with sequins? I mean, I don't know. But so I'm just looking through all the pieces, looking through what I have, and I knew there was a cork leaf and there was a like a resin see-through type of leaf. And so I couldn't decide between those. And I think at this point I've taken both of them out. I can see the cork one there. And but yeah, and I keep switching back and forth because I really am like, do I wanted the cork to work because I thought that that would really just bring another texture, but I just wasn't sure. I really liked the way that yellow looking one just kind of like blended in and you could still see through the layers. So here I'm just fiddling around, getting that little leaf in there, and I'm going to use glossy accents on those because I really want them to stick. And using your ATG gun is kind of difficult on those little pieces. So, and later on I don't want them to come off. So hopefully the glossy accents will work, right? So here I'm just putting them randomly throughout. I just kind of want to have them different places. Now, one thing I don't think I show on here that I know I did was later on I took some Studio Calico Gold letter stickers and I wrote hashtag Java underneath documented. So that is going to be my title. And I don't really need much of a title. I mean, so here I'm going to put some more sequins up at that top cluster. Now I do 4 clusters and I know it's not the typical 3, right? But I really wanted it it has that diagonal flow, but I really wanted you to notice the top and the bottom as well because we have the title up at the one corner and at the bottom corner I have my journaling. So I just kind of wanted to focus on all those pieces and I think it kind of brings your eye around the layout, hopefully. I mean, I really love how this turned out because with the hemp twine, with the wood leaves, and some of the gold and the sequins and all the just different textures, I really, really like how it turned out. And so the last thing that I'm going to do is I have just bought some Heidi Swap Color Shine. This is the first bottle of Color Shine, and I got black because thank you, Genbox. Now I'm addicted to putting black splatters on my layout. So I will say, however, that I'm not a big fan of how long it takes for it to dry. I don't know if it's because it was on the gesso. So that's something I'm going to have to figure out because I know Jen did that whole layout or that whole video not too long ago about the different blacks, but she didn't use the Heidi Swap Color Shine in black. So I don't know. I'll have to maybe message her and see if she's done that and I don't know, maybe do my own test or something. So here's some close-ups of all the fun little layers and I really, like I said, I really like how this turned out and leave me comments. And thank you guys for subscribing and watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great inspired week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.